Welcome to the Real Triathlon Podcast. I'm your host, Garrick Lowen, here with Nicholas Chase and Jackson Laundry.
Welcome back to the Lisa Go
Real Triathlon Podcast.
That's right. It's going to be one of those episodes. Just craziness, ridiculousness. Jackson's late. He's supposed to be here 6 minutes ago. So we're starting without him. And Garrick has to work, or he had to work, and he's finishing up something. He's busy guy.
He had to ride his bicycle because he has a real person job. He doesn't get to faff around like the rest of us all day.
Well, he said at camp, he procrastinates and he's trying to not do that anymore. So I think he's got more free time available.
He does. He's just got to reallocate his time better.
That's right. I think we'll hop straight into talking about one of the biggest things that have happened this year in the sport of triathlon at all, our 2025 season kickoff camp in Cozumel, Mexico. I think, what do you think? That's the same gravity for you, Lisa?
I do. I think that was the biggest news in triathlon this week. And actually, I just came from PT and I saw Summer Rappaport.
We love her. We love her. We love Summer.
Summer's awesome. And she said, "How was Cozumel? It looked like so fun." And I said, "It was a lot of fun." So there are people all over the world that just had major FOMO and were like, "Why didn't I come to Cozumel camp?" Also, second year in a row for me, this is a win that I escaped the polar vortex in Colorado. Last year, wow, I like the mood setting. Just got really dark.
Got it. Fixed it.
But it's the past 2 years I've gone to Cozumel camp. It's been in the negatives in Colorado. And then I come back and today it was like a high 40. So it's pretty much time.
And I would say 40s are still rideable outdoors. I did that today and it's not as bad as you think. Once you just literally bundle, you gotta go out prepared to be cold. Otherwise you're pissed.
I agree, but as someone who is like a heavier sweater, I do run this like fine line of like if I wear too much and I start sweating, then I get really, really cold after 2 hours because I've overdressed. So I think there is a little bit of a finding the right formula to nail it. I haven't nailed it every time, but when you do nail it, it feels so good because you're warm the whole time.
Yeah. And you're right. I want to make sure that I acknowledge that you're 100% right. Sometimes I'll go out and I'll be just a little too minimal, but after 35, 40 minutes, I'm hot and I'm like, glad I didn't bring a lot of layers. And then there's other times, most times I'm like, where am I going to put this coat? I can't put this coat anywhere. It's too big. It doesn't fold anywhere. It's just too wintry. And then I'm just miserably hot.
Do you have this issue? The older I get, the more I think that I have developed Raynaud's in my fingers and toes because they come back frigid or like everything else in my body is totally fine, but my standard for riding outside in the cold has just gone like the temperature has gone up, which is really depressing for someone who hates to ride the trainer. I just my fingers and toes get so cold. So do you notice that? Like, have we burned off all of our nerve endings from being too cold too much?
I don't know how it's caused or if it's genetic or whatever it is, but I don't know if I would say I mean, I used to tolerate the cold much better. I can say that as a fact. I've had hypothermia 4 times. And after this last time, things have been different. Like if I get into a pool that's like 76 degrees even and swim without really hard intention, my tiny little pinkies will start to go numb. And then I'm like, uh-oh, I got about 8 minutes left in this pool before I just start shivering. And so like I try to Wim Hof breathe through it. I try to just think warm thoughts, but my body just does terrible in the cold now. And if I do go for a cold ride outside and the wind is the difference maker. If the wind is cutting through the layers and I come home cold, it takes me like 4 hours to warm up after a shower that is like, this shower shouldn't be this hot on anybody's skin, but I'm just loving it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a space heater that I literally set up from cold rides, and I just sit there with my fingers and toes for probably 30 minutes before I can actually go shower. And then I stay in the shower and run a bath.
Did you ever have floor heat vents when you were growing up in your house, like the heaters that came out of the floor?
Yes, I think we have some here.
In
Actually,
Michigan, we had that in my house, and I would get out of the shower, and every day I would create like this. I'd sit on the ground and I'd create like this towel igloo and contain all of the heat inside the towel igloo for like sometimes 30 minutes. It was a total waste of time, but I
but
was
that's awesome.
warm.
But you were really warm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Um,
key.
so anyways, we were talking about camp earlier before we switched to weather and cold weather riding. Now we're back on track. The weather in Cozumel for the first few days, I'd say actually for the first like what was it 88% of the days were amazing, and there was only the last two and a half or barely two that we had to deal with some crazy wind and some overcast and some squalls that just went. We almost didn't even get rained on. Can you hear my wife in the background?
Just a little bit.
I'm gonna
I'm
have to scream in a second. If you hear her again, you let me know and I will quiet this house down to mute. No, I'm just kidding. They can have all the conversations they want. But anyways, it was that last day we were riding, and Jackson and I said this exact thing to ourselves, like, man, the weather hasn't even been that bad today. Like even this year, remember last year we got just dumped on for like 30 minutes, and I was like, yeah, but I remember that. I bet we're gonna get fucked in the next 20 minutes though for saying this. And 30 minutes later, we were just getting destroyed with rain. Like it was the finale.
Yeah, it was the finale. And you never want to keep your mouth open either because it's like the water from the Mexican roads are like spitting up into your mouth and you're just certain that you're gonna get contract some sort of diseases. So you have to like nose breathe the whole time.
They
Granted,
got
we weren't going that fast, but like it's the stretch through town and you just
the
also I
roads will
had to
make you
like
sick in Mexico, Lisa.
if you lick them, they
Okay.
But yeah, I had to peel off from the group that last day because I had to get some photos of, hashtag influencer content. And
Yeah, I wonder where the hell you went.
I was like, damn it, Lisa, why didn't you do this on like a sunny day? And I was like, just sopping wet, trying to wipe the back of my iPhone camera off so I could like get a decent photo, which they actually turned out quite well. But yeah, the
Content's tough
weather.
like that.
Yeah. The weather though, it was great. And to be honest, I normally complain about being like too hot or too cold. And I'm sure I complained about being too hot a couple times in Cozumel, but I just don't remember being like on the surface of the sun
Mm-mm.
in Cozumel. I just remember being like, oh, this is so much better than -10 in Colorado. But it was
We
such
we
a fun group.
I was gonna say we had overcast. So how much overcast skies did we have, right? That was the main part. Like we weren't running directly in the sun barely ever. In the long run we had off the bike was like raining. So we had really good weather.
Yeah. It ended up really, really good. And because even though we did have two shitty days of weather, like they weren't really shitty. But everyone at camp was just such a good, positive warrior, like go with the flow. And it was such an awesome group. And um, like we had, more people than we did last year. And I think last year was a blast. And this year, just having even more different people, more personalities, different backgrounds, different focuses. Yeah, and most of them were coming from your network.
I learned a lot about everybody. For me, that was the best part because I just whenever we have like a bunch of people in a room, I can kind of hone in on different levels of conversation just randomly. Like I have a dual listening degree in scientific brain activity. I developed that with the U.S. Air Force CIA contingency for terrorist threats. So I can listen to all these conversations all at once. I'm not joking. And it was just really nice to put together little pieces of everybody's personalities over the camp. And like you could sit down, someone else said this, you could sit down next to anybody at dinner and just have a great conversation, probably cry. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, cry or just laugh a lot or a lot of put up with a lot of inappropriate comments too.
Yeah. There was the boat day was good. That was always a highlight. I made a mistake on boat day. I the pricing that I got quoted, I forgot was for like 15 people. And then I forgot how much extra because like I had booked it the year before, right?
Yeah,
And so he just sent me like the cost for 6 hours. And that cost was for the 15 people, not the 18 we had, I think.
yeah.
So I had to have an, I don't know how much it cost us extra, but I was like, oh shit. And I was like, I can't ask everyone to pay more now. I'd be an asshole. So we ate the cost. We ate it. It was expensive.
Oh, we have to build that into camp costs next year.
Yeah,
But
next year we're coming at it hard. I'm gonna recoup it.
$10,000 7-day camp.
And for 11,000, you can share room with Lisa.
Yeah, 12,000. Come on.
But you have to be of same sex. No guy girl.
No guy girl.
So
Um,
yeah, what was your favorite part?
my favorite part, you know, Steve, my fiance, asked me this too when I got home. And honestly, I think it's just like the meals, like the having the conversations with people. But I also felt like I didn't like sit down and chill like for more
Yeah.
than like 10 minutes at camp. And the whole time I was thinking, I was like, what do I do at home? Like I get the same amount of training or like and I have so much free time.
I know.
And
I
then we go to
don't get
camp
it.
and I'm like, oh my God, I have like 10 athlete programs I still need to write. But it's like a blast. But I think it's just like the meals and the conversing with people and getting to know everyone's stories. And that honestly is my favorite part of camp because you can do the training. Like, yeah, it's warm weather, it's fun, it's beautiful, but you can do training anywhere. So it's really just the people that make it for me.
Yeah.
So
The laughter, the smiles, like you just don't get to have that type of fun with a which is such a diverse group of people like ever. And the sport is the only common language, right? For most of it. It's
mhm.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's just the I don't know. It's I I literally laugh so much for like 7 days straight, and then I come home and I like stare at my dog and I'm like, why aren't you making me laugh?
I don't think that it takes you long for you and your dog to start making weird faces at each other and start laughing or something.
Yeah, I mean, I just squeeze the shit out of her. But anyways, but what was your favorite part about camp?
Um, I can't pick one. I just can't. I think. Hold on. There's pots and pans banging around back. Had to mute
What
myself.
what you didn't hear was
You just muted yourself. Um, I think it had to be, hmm, I don't know. I think I get nervous a lot because I'm like, why are things going so well? Why are people having fun? Everyone's getting along. And so I think for me, it's more like I really want to just not screw anything up.
yeah. I think it is there's a little bit more pressure on you. Or maybe we all just like we're like, ah, we're fine. All the
You're like
other
this.
pros are
How does
like,
everything just
take
work
your
so
time.
great?
It just goes flawlessly. It's fine.
Don't worry, I
But
got laundry
no.
taken care of. I got the mechanics taken care of. I got all the swim training taken care of because we brought somebody for it. We got all the camera, the optics, don't worry, I got it. I got the meals planned. I'm telling everyone what they're eating for the next week.
Yeah, if you didn't know, Nick runs the show and we just show up and make it a good time. And
I
that's what
think
happens,
that's fun.
right?
That's fun for me. I do like that, being able to set things up and planning.
Well, and you do a really good job of it. Like we do, so everyone listening, we do a couple like chats at night and some different people give presentations. Nicole gave a great talk. Jackson gave a nutrition talk. And then Nick, well, we actually had two of our campers give talks too, which was fun.
Yeah.
Uh, but Nick gave a great talk on last night. And like what I was watching and like taking in when you were speaking was I was like pretty much like in awe of like how well you can speak to a room and really tie in different people's viewpoints and personalities and make sure that everyone's engaged through the whole time. I was like, wow, Nick should give like more speeches on how to make people better at public speaking or making
Oh.
people feel inclusive in a group. So you did a really good job. I was impressed. Even
Oh,
Mark and I even chatted about it afterwards because he helped me put my bike, build my bike back in its bag.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, and we were like, he's like, boy, I just don't know how Nick does it. So really impressive. Everyone should come to camp just so they can witness that.
Yeah, thanks. That's a huge compliment from all of you. So much like it doesn't feel real. Like that's awesome. So I'm really happy to do that.
You start crying now.
I can. I can,
Just a
but
teeny.
but I won't. I think I would love to make a difference somehow to a big large public speaking event somehow, whether it's about triathlon being a lifestyle, not just a sport you sign up for and do a couple times a year. It's like all consuming, inclusive. It's the best. And I think it brings the best of people together from what I've noticed. So that's maybe what I'll do is I'll write a book on that. My camera just keeps messing up and cutting out.
Okay.
It's all
I
right.
just think I'm not used to having a microphone. And so I keep wanting to do this.
Yeah,
So
you
we
should.
can
Hey, how's it going over there?
Amen.
It's only when you can tell secrets to your microphone.
Um, but yeah, camp was awesome.
Okay, camp done. Good. Now everyone's like back to work, getting after it. Jackson and I are, he's going to have probably a better opportunity to do well at South Africa, Ironman South Africa, because I have to go away again on a 10-day trip where I won't be able to ride a bike, unfortunately. And it's in one of the best places to ride your bike, Mallorca. So I'm just kind of like pissing and moaning about that, but I can't pass it up.
Do you think you can rent a bike there?
For sure, but also there's going to be tons of bikes there because it's for an iFit shoot, and they're going to have pro cyclists on bikes. So I'm going to bring my pedals and my shoes and my Garmin just in case I can take Nicholas Roche's bike or something or whatever.
Yeah,
But Bradley Wiggins' bike, no big deal.
no big deal. Do you think that the like you guys will have time in it? So Nick, you want to explain what you're doing, I
Oh
guess,
yeah,
to the
I
audience?
didn't intend to go into it, but I will. The production company who's done stuff for us, they do a ton of the iFit shooting, and iFit is owned by Nordic Track. So if you do a Nordic Track treadmill run or a lifestyle or whatever company they own subsidiary, you'll watch the videos of people training you, and it's usually pro runners or really heavy influence athlete people. And anyways, that's what they film. And it's a really big production because imagine following somebody, having it be immersive, having it follow a workout, and it has to be precise to follow along with the viewer. So it's really tough. But that's what I'm going to go. I don't even have to film it, the heavy stuff. I'm not the talent. Hopefully one day I could be, but I'm doing behind the scenes of like how they put it together. So I get to capture them building this whole thing. That's like so low stress because like anything I get is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So you're taking a like content gathering
Yeah.
job role.
Yep. Yeah, because I have like all the camera stuff and decent enough stuff for behind the scenes that are going to be like on iFit and for some of the sponsors who are helping with it. And all in all, I just get to be a fly on the wall. It's going to be pretty freaking cool. And it'll be big, heavy days of just being out, in the
Yeah.
vans, watching them film the cyclists as they climb. But I think I'll get some time to do a lot of good running and swimming for sure. So I'm stoked on that.
That'll be awesome. I I do think the behind the scenes work, and I've been on the other side of the camera many times from different jobs that I've had. It's a lot of work and it's kind of stressful when I think so I've driven the car while like the cameramen are freaking hanging out the side
Yeah.
people, and I'm like they're always like get closer to the rider, get closer to the rider, and I'm like I don't want to get I don't want to be responsible for killing the rider.
It's like
And
I am a triathlete. I'm not a professional driver.
yeah, please. So I think there's so much that goes in behind the scenes with making those shoots look as cool as they do. So I'm excited to hear how that experience goes and your perspective. And can you please pick like the brains of those guys
Yeah.
um
Uh,
and tell us how to become really good cyclists when you come back?
It's probably locked away in their mindset for sure. They might not be able to tell me everything because they're so damn, it's just, they just got it.
Yeah.
But we'll
It,
see. I hope I learn a lot. I hope I meet good people at iFit and, maybe get more part of their culture in the future. But if not, like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for me to kind of be around this level of talent. Olympians, pro tour winners, like crazy stage winners.
that'll That'll be an epic time. And in one of like the prettiest places and most
Yeah.
epic places you can, right?
I
That's Mallorca. Is that where you and Jackson both did the Ironman?
Yes, it
Right?
is. Right before he got, I guess, previously married.
Okay. Oh, that was right. And
Yeah.
then you didn't finish because you like were passed out on the
I
road,
blacked
like
out, man. That was
fainted.
the first time. Like I sat down at mile like 16 and just kind of like fell back, eyes rolled in the head, and then sat in an ambulance, freezing to death for about 2 hours. So it wasn't really effective.
Ugh.
It was
Makes
one of
me
those days for
really
sure. I just only reason I went is because it was for Jackson's first full, and I was like not ready, and I was like, I just give it a go. What else am I going to do right now? It's going to be a good time, and that race just smacked me.
it honestly, hearing you guys say stuff like that makes me never want to do an Ironman.
It's a gamble. I mean, you kind of know roughly what you can do, but if you can actually pull it off and stuff, your camera's just like gradually lowering. It's on like a slow hydraulic leak.
I had it set up nice and good, and then I don't know, Steve cleaned the office, and now I don't know how I had it set up, and I know I really struggle the difference between righty tighty and lefty loosey. Never, never learned it.
You
Anyways,
just said it though.
I know, but it doesn't make sense in my head.
You're like,
Like if
what if
you
it's
think
forward
about
or
it,
backward?
if you think about it, it can be the opposite way. Like
Lisa,
lefty,
the
if
tr-
you're lefty, you're still turning it towards your right hand.
the trick is the spoon isn't what's bending. You are.
Is that from
The Matrix.
Matrix?
You're probably too young for that movie.
Nah, red pill, blue pill, something like
Keanu
that.
Reeves, man. Like, whoa, Keanu Reeves.
And it's
Neo.
well, it's actually I should rewatch it because aren't they just hooked up to like things in their brain at the
It's
end of
the
the day?
reality we live in that they just like we're
Yeah.
either in the simulation or we're dying in real life controlled by machines. That's our life anyways. Like what it's just reality of movie.
Have you ever thought, the Truman Show, the movie?
Yeah.
Have you ever have you ever thought that like you are Truman and
Every
like
time I
this
swim and I do backstroke, I'm like, they're watching me. Where's the camera? Like that sun's not real. I know it.
what a good movie. Makes
You
you
know,
question a lot of things.
funny other tangent. I got my first marriage was in that same community, watercolor, which is right to the left of it. So we went through Seaside all the time, and that's one of my favorite like stretches of road in Florida, Old 30A.
Wow. Are the neighborhoods set up like that? Like in
Yeah,
the
they're every single neighborhood has like a theme. Like one of them is just completely like white and very like Greek looking. One of them is like just kind of big, beautiful Florida homes, like really done well. But Seaside is like everything's the same to code.
Yeah. So we kind of live in one of those cookie cutter neighborhoods here where we have
Cool.
we have an HOA. Every house is like we live in a blue house and there's like a purple house next to us and a yellow house next to us. And I
Very
never
Colorado.
yeah, and I think it's not it wouldn't be my first choice of like houses or neighborhoods to live in, but here we are. And most of the people that live in this neighborhood are like 65 plus. They're all
That's a
very
good thing.
nice. Yeah, they're great. It's just funny that just the different stages of life that we're in. Um, but
Yeah. Yeah. Even me and you, I'm in a different stage in life than you are for sure.
not I mean, kind not really though.
What are you, 33?
34. I'm gonna be 35 soon too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm about to be 39 this year in July for crying out loud. Worst day ever.
But at least it's not 40, you know?
But that's good. Not, that's not too far off either.
You know.
Then I
I
have to have that damn 40th year old celebration, I guess, that everyone has in their life. And I got to see what that's all about at least, because something maybe real cool happens that I don't even know about.
well, I think we should have a big party for it.
Yeah, I think that's what happens. And then like real cool things that you never even knew about kind of happened at that party.
Yeah. Oh, I have a question. When do you know you're ready to retire from triathlon, like professional racing? At
I don't
what
know.
at what
I think everyone has those little, I guess, once something else becomes also more like appealing and alluring, that's a big one. Like, oh wow, I don't have to stress about this anymore, but I think it honestly depends on to the person and if they really love certain aspects of the sport more than others. Like I just love the community, the travel, the opportunity to compete and see what I'm made of. But it doesn't like break my heart if I'm not the best in the entire world. Like, and if that would crush others. And once they can't be that best in the entire world, then it's probably no good for them anymore and they're done. So I think it depends on what you really want out of the sport. For me, if I can be in the top 10, that is absolutely a goal for me. I'd love to every single race be there. But I'm racing guys who are 26 now. Not that I can't still compete or count myself out completely, but I just have to love other things about the sport more.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good answer. I do ask because I think there was a big exodus out of the sport. A lot of people
You're
retired
right.
this year
Last
and
year.
last year. And I think it is, and some people that are like right around my age too, or like younger than us. And I'm like, wow, you're already retiring. And I think it is just what do you get out of the sport and what are your goals? I know for me, I'm not, I always say that I want I want to be the person that is able to step away. Like I don't want to ever just like cling forever and ever. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but someone that just keeps hanging on for like dear life. But I'm also like, I don't know when that time is gonna come, and if I hope it just comes, and I'm like okay with it. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
my time.
I don't think you need to put thought into it because you're going to know. Like, absolutely. It's not something that you're going to have to be like, fuck triathlon today and you're done. You're like, nah, done with it. I've been hanging on for years. I'm tired of this sport. Done. So like you probably should have done it a long time ago and you were just forcing it. So if you find yourself like, I think, yeah, I feel like that switch went off. Like you'll know in your gut feeling.
Yeah. And this I triathlon, this is something I say to the athletes that I coach. It's something that I want to create a lifestyle. I don't ever want them to get to a point where they're like, I fucking hate this sport. Like, I don't want to swim. I don't want to bike. I don't want to run. Like,
Yeah,
maybe that's okay if it happens, that thought process happens like one day every, few months or something. We all go through those. Like, I just don't want to do anything today. But
true.
it's longevity. I tell them, I'm like, I'm gonna do a disservice to you if I completely train you as hard as you can go for the next like 6 months of your life, because at the end of that, you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna want to stay in the sport. And I want people to stay in the sport for, forever. And branch off, like whether it's a bike race or a run race or a swim race, or some people are getting into the CrossFitty thing, but just like make it a lifelong thing and something that is just there to create community, keep you healthy, and I don't know, people who I saw something on Instagram. I get all my news from Instagram,
Oh,
and research and
you don't
studies,
say.
sometimes TikTok. But
Soliloquies,
what?
all your haikus.
Haikus. But something about like if you exercise 30 to 40 minutes a day, or if you run 30 to 40 minutes like 5 times a week, you have like 10% less chance of getting dementia. So
That's
there
just
you
bro
go.
science if it's on Instagram, probably.
Yeah, I think it's
Like,
just
yeah, I'm like 40 years old and I still haven't forgot my mom's birthday. Like most guys my age forget their mom's birthday, but not me because I've been training real hard, keeping the brain cells flowing. So must be real. I'm gonna put that on a tweet.
uh, oh man. Oh wait, I'm pivoting real quick. Hot pivot. Because we had some big news in triathlon come out today-ish. The T100 announced almost all over their schedule for 2025.
That
Did you?
is actually good to have something to plan for. That's not just, half the year.
Yeah, it is. So they're supposed to have 9 races, and I should just pull it up. Um,
I'm stoked that it's gonna be in Vancouver. I love that city.
where
Have you ever heard of Vancouver before, Lisa?
I got confused at where Vancouver was.
British
I flew
Columbia,
I flew
above
into Vancouver and then I drove to
to
Bellingham,
Whistler.
Washington.
Oh,
Uh,
or that.
yeah, wouldn't recommend because you have to go through the border crossing. But
But customs are so nice when you come into the USA and you're American. They're like, hey, where you been? Come on back in. You want a
come on
mint?
in. We missed you.
Take take this. Here's a Budweiser. You deserve it.
But Vancouver will be sick. Also, so what they have so far is Singapore T100 April 5th and 6th. I have a gut feeling that a lot of people won't do that because Singapore is really far away and it's hard racing conditions, like super hot.
If I was writing those contracts, though, I'd be like, asterisks, these races are mandatory, and Singapore would be one of them.
Yes. Yeah. I think the first and the last race should be mandatory. But I think they only have to race like 4 or 5 out of the grand final. So like
Still,
6 races max.
still,
So
I mean, I get it. I think maybe you should have to race them, show up to them all, and then you only score whatever ones, but you should still have to be part of the series.
I think you have to I think you should have to show up to 8 of the 9.
Yeah. And
Because like
then,
maybe like one, like I just
yeah,
don't
and
know.
maybe they only call your top 7 results.
Yes, yeah, something like that to make it like a real type of series.
Yeah, because
Um,
we understand like there's gonna be a couple races where like 3 competitors who are in the top maybe won't show up and it'll swing a lot of points throughout the series. So yeah, I like it. I think that's what they should do. We should call them.
we should call them. Let them know. They're for sure listening to our podcasts. We're at the
Yeah, I
top.
mean we're like ranked number 18, I think, on some list I saw recently. So
Yeah.
moving on up.
I didn't even know that list that you sent. I didn't even know there were like 30 triathlon podcasts.
Yeah, there's a ton of us out there. I don't know how long they've been around, but we might be one of the older ones.
I feel like you guys, this podcast has been around quite long. 2020,
Yeah.
you started.
Yeah, it's weird that we've done so many episodes and I don't remember much of them.
Do you know what number episode this is?
I'd have to look on my iPhone and look at what episode we just released the last couple weeks.
Because everyone gets really excited. They're like, this is the 100th episode or this is the 150th episode. Because
We don't
they
sell
celebrate milestones.
we don't celebrate those types of things.
But I think we should start.
Um, Jan, I don't think we number them.
So we could ask Garrick. He's the stat
Garrick,
man.
yeah. Oh wait, 194. That was the last one.
Oh, can we
Damn,
celebrate episode 200?
we're gonna have to.
This is this is it.
I don't know how you. How do you celebrate an episode? What is it? What
We're
do you
gonna
have to
get
do?
we're gonna get big 200 balloons and we're
Should I
gonna
get
like
Bob Babbitt to
pop.
come on?
Yeah. Get Bob.
Bob, we're celebrating 200. We got to get you on, Bob.
That would be awesome. Good old Bob Babbitt.
Yep.
Um, who's
Okay.
your favorite person in triathlon? Like favorite, not, I don't know, I guess kind of, yeah.
Anybody involved?
Yeah, yeah. Just say anyone involved. Who's your favorite person in triathlon?
Oh man, it might be 2 people, and they're cut from the same cloth. It might be Kenny Withrow and Toffer.
Yeah, those good choices. Good guys.
and James Mitchell.
I've never met James, but I like those both. I don't know Topher really well.
I
Know
think my
Kenny
favorite
really
people are
well.
the just way cool videographers and photographers who are so talented and cool.
Yeah. And they bring a different vibe.
Yeah,
I like
they make you
they're
just
like,
like they make you love your job.
yes. And I think they put things into perspective well. I'm like, man, it's just another day of swim, bike, run. You
Favorite
win,
at
you don't.
Yeah, because they see it from the outside. They're like, "Oh, you pros get so bent out of shape about everything, but like nothing you care about really matters. So like, just keep being happy and stuff." Like, it's just
They're like,
swimming, biking, and running.
I remember this is like I think I've gone through a couple transformations in my like triathlon career, as we all have. But I just remember in 2021 when Worlds were in St. George and like I like saw you during the race. That was fun. You saw Leslie.
Yeah,
It was a good time. Was having a terrible race and I just like it was such in a bad mindset and place that like I was like bawling after the race. I was like, "What? Well, look here, what?" It was just a terrible time. I was like throwing the biggest like pity party of my life. And I just remember like sitting in this room and then like Kenny comes up. He's probably like, "What the?" Fuck.
He's like, did
Are
you
you,
just get the
are you
doctor tell
okay?
you only have like 6 weeks to live or something? No, I
Right.
just hurt my ankle.
You're like, no, I'm just a piece of shit. I'm a terrible athlete. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a fun Kenny story.
we
But good
take it
guy. He
very
like
serial.
he comforted me though. It's like it's okay.
I have to add another addition to my two of them, two
Yes.
additions, three additions. Zach and
Yes.
Ellie and her partner Zach, and then you cannot go without saying Mark Goddard from Zoot.
Oh, he's yes. Yeah. It's just a gem. He's literally Mark is a gem of a human being.
Absolutely, like we talk to each other like weekly, and it's my favorite stuff. And I get the best memes ever.
He's just like think of someone that's like a happier, more like go lucky, but also have these like not snarky. Snarky is not the
He's witty.
right word. Witty, yeah, like just these witty comments like here and there. Um, Mark's such a
And
good guy.
his laugh is just intoxicating too. I love him. I love you, Mark. If you're listening somewhere out there, come and be a guest.
Come on.
Lisa, who is yours?
Oh, I don't know. I asked you that question without even like
I
thinking
just
too
gave
much.
you a lot of time to think about it, and I gave you some sparks of inspiration there.
I know. Oh man. One of my favorite people is Ryan Kelly, who works for BCC Live, like the people who put on the broadcasting show.
Okay,
Um,
gonna have to meet him.
you gotta meet him. He's super awesome. Just because we shared some like good memories a couple summers ago, and then oh man, I just try to think of like who do I look forward to seeing
At the
at like
races.
races the most. Um,
That's a great way to look at it.
like when you're just like, yes, I know those people are gonna be there.
Yeah.
Ah, dang it. I mean I love all my teammates. You guys are all great. It's
Yeah,
fun.
we're glad that we're the scraping the bottom of the bucket. You can't think of anybody else. I guess my team, like
Yes,
they're
I
pretty
like
okay.
them. Um, ah,
It's not dark Mubrick.
Dark Rubric. Oh, I love Mark. I
Of
like
course.
honestly, if I could only like if I could travel to races with like one other pro triathlete, it'd be Mark.
Yeah, he
Because
just
like
never gets dissuaded from being a jolly old saint, bro.
no, exactly. And you know how people get like super nervous and like they develop like bipolar disorder like during race week. Mark just stays steady, stays the line, and you know what you're
Yeah,
gonna get every time you do it. So the vibes are always high. And if something happens to my bike, he's like,
I know.
I'll help you true
You
your
know,
rotors.
I'll do anything. Like, Mark, I need my whole chassis rebuilt. I don't know what happened to it overnight. Oh, I guess I'll come up there in a few hours, Nick.
Yeah, so freaking yeah, Mark's a good person to travel with.
I
Uh
think I think Greg Harper and I started a bromance at camp. I really think his personality and mainly his movie knowledge was just top notch. Like,
You
I
two had dinner that one night
oh
was so
man,
good.
we were
Because you
basically reciting the entire Forgetting Sarah Marshall movie line by line. Just and then Step Brothers came into it. Like, man, we were just nailing it. Even the other guys, super underrated. We just
yeah,
had such a movie binge bro moment.
I was really impressed and a little envious. I was like, I don't know these quotes. I don't know what you're
I
referring
know.
to, but I
I
was
wish you could have
laughing.
partaken.
I was laughing, wishing I could be one of the bros. But
Okay,
no,
so that was a good question.
yeah, okay.
That
Mhm.
you didn't even really provide an answer to, besides a guy that, sorry, is it Ryan? But sorry, we've
Ryan,
never had a
Ryan
chance
Kelly.
to
You
until
gotta meet him. He's a bro. You'd
got him.
like him.
I'm down. Bring him.
Um, okay, what's your question?
I was supposed to have a question. I think I've been doing all
I
the
don't know.
answering.
I know. That was the only question I brought. Um,
I think we've gone a little long, so we're probably all right. People are like, I don't want an episode that's near an hour. If I even see that length, I'm not even listening. So I think 40 something minutes would be all right.
Perfect. Give the people what they want. And then
Yeah,
we'll
give
come
them.
back with like an hour episode next week.
Yeah,
And then
and
like a 2 hour episode for our 200th episode. Whoop,
yeah,
whoop.
200th has to be like maybe we bring back old guests and we just we call him and prank dial him or prank call him.
You know how funny that would be if we can actually figure out how to prank dial, or was it star 60 69, star 67? You
The
can like,
problem is nobody answers their phone anymore
I know.
unless they like. We'd have to spoof them, and then somehow I'd be like, "Hi, this is Gerald from the repossession department. You don't pay your bills."
No, do you know what's actually funny? I saw a video of they were NFL football players and they were getting a FaceTime for their coach, and they were filming it like from the side of the phone. And everyone who opened up the FaceTime, it was like all six of their coaches just on FaceTime. And they're all like, oh shit, did I do something wrong? Or like, what? I think we should do something like that. We should just start FaceTiming people and like have it live on our episode. We should just like a whole bunch of like random FaceTime, like a whole
You
bunch of pro
interview
triathletes.
you interview somebody through FaceTime on a podcast. Has that been done?
I don't know, but do you know this is the last thing I'm gonna leave you with? You have to go look up the SNL skit about the podcasts
I just
how
I
to get
just
men
watched
to the
it.
doctor.
I just
And
watched it.
it's so good.
I was literally just watching that Timothy Chalamet episode before this podcast.
Uh,
It's too good.
it was
We'd love to have you
awesome.
back. What do you say? About 6 months? All right.
All right, cough for me. How are your stools?
Oh man, they're good. Yeah, no problem.
Anyways, if you don't know what we're referring to, go look it
SNL.
up.
Saturday Night Live,
SNL.
it's a show. So I was gonna get into what's happening next before we totally derailed this train, but mainly we're all racing soon. It's time to get serious. Camp's over, the fun has stopped, and now we must all suffer and tell all of our friends we can't hang out anymore. Our families, we have to cancel plans and don't bother us. And we won't be posting on social media unless we're paid. We're on a strike, athlete influencer strike.
I wonder if that would work.
No,
Would it work at all?
it would be funny though.
Would it be funny?
I'm not going to post about these
And
friggin' wheels anymore, guys. I tell you that much. I love them,
pay
but
me
I'm not.
more money.
Yeah. I'm not talking about this friggin' coffee bean from a local roaster that nobody can get except if you live in my town. Take that, Nicole. I know you listen to the show. All right. And on that bombshell, we'll be back with the next episode. Jackson messed up the time zone. That's why he didn't make it. And Lisa, take us out.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week. Peace out.
Out.